All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little Golden State Warrior video. There is a very interesting Warrior trade rumor involving Andrew Wiggins that is circulating. We'll talk about it next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Go get some brisket. Go get some brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And this video is brought to you by our good friends at Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. Give my friend Anthony Catania a call at 831-521-5264. Well, we don't really know what the Warriors are going to do. Klay Thompson is a Dallas Maverick. We know that. Chris Paul's a San Antonio Spur. The Warriors have, the draft came and went. They added Quentin Post and Lindy Waters. If you say, who's Quentin Post and Lindy Waters, don't worry about it. You're not the only person that's never heard of those guys. Post played at BC. He's a big man who can shoot the basketball. And Waters also can really shoot the ball. He played for OKC off the bench. Okay, so there is a proposed trade from Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report that says that the Warriors, are potentially looking to improve their roster. And, they may have a trade partner with the Brooklyn Nets, who are in the midst of a rebuild. The Nets just traded Mikal Bridges to the Knicks for like 5 number ones. And so they're turning the page and they're looking to kind of look toward the future. And in a proposed trade from Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report, the Warriors would trade Andrew Wiggins, a future first-round draft choice, and more to Brooklyn for Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. So that's interesting. Once again, the Warriors would get Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. The Nets would wind up with Wiggins, Kevon Looney, a future first-round pick, and maybe even a second-tier prospect, not Jonathan Kuminga, not Brandon Pajemski. So it might be something along the lines of Wiggins, Looney, Moses Moody, future first-round pick to the Nets for Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. That's interesting. Bunch of people are calling the Nets looking to steal players because everybody knows they're looking to rebuild. When they shipped out Mikal Bridges for 5 first-round picks, they kind of announced to the NBA world, hey, look, we're flipping the page on this whole regime and this whole era, and we're going to look to rebuild. We're going to take a couple steps back, see if we can get some assets and rebuild. But that's interesting. Let's talk a little bit about what they would be getting back. Dorian Finney-Smith is a 6'8", 6'9", 3-and-D combo forward. He can guard some 4s and 5s. I think he's a little bit more, or I should say 3s and 4s. He's more of a 3 than a 4. He's a good shooter though. He plays good defense. And then Cam Johnson is 6'8", 6'8.5", 6'9", and just one of the best pure shooters in the league. And if you're the Warriors and you had Klay Thompson, and now you're saying goodbye to Klay Thompson, you're looking for some shooting. And Buddy Hield and Cam Johnson would be a phenomenal way to replace Klay Thompson's shooting. Now, I don't believe that this Wiggins trade makes you a title contender. So it's not like you're winning a title, and you're not even contending for a title if you make this move. So you still need to make some other significant move and try to go for, I don't know, a Lauri Markkanen, a Kyle Kuzma, Zach LaVine, a Brandon Ingram, Alperen Sengun, Jalen Duren. I mean, they got to do something else to get themselves back into that championship, that championship track, let's say. The Warriors won a championship in the 2021-2022 season, and Wiggins was a huge part of that team. He was an all-star that year, the first and only time in his entire career he's made an all-star team. He played in 73 games that year. He shot 46.6% from the field, 39.3% from three-point range on 5.5 attempts per game. He averaged 17.2 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game. But over the last couple of years, we've seen that production go south. He's shooting 35.8% from three-point range on 3.6 attempts last year, averaging just 13.2 points per game. He was a much better defensive player when the Warriors won the title in 2022. He slowed down on that side of the ball. He was rebounding with a vengeance that year. He's nowhere close to that level of rebounder now. According to Logan Murdoch of The Ringer, Andrew Wiggins will be aggressively put in trade talks because he's been so inconsistent the last couple of years. Murdoch wrote in late June, he said, league sources believe Andrew Wiggins, who struggled to find a consistent role last year, will aggressively be dangled in trade talks. So, this, and Johnson and Finney-Smith make good money. There's no question. I think both those guys would be nice replacements for Wiggins. So I think Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson are both better than average defensively. You've got Peyton still. You've got Green. So you also have those good defenders. Finney-Smith averaged 8.5 points and 4.7 rebounds last year. He's one of the better defenders in the league. And he's a pretty good three-point shooter as well. He shot 39.5% from three-point range on 5.4 attempts just 2 seasons ago. Last year, he shot 34.8% for three-point range on 4.9 attempts. So he saw his three-point shooting percentage drop 5 percentage points, in the last year. So, hopefully he could get it back to close to 40% where he was. Now, Cam Johnson, I really like Cam Johnson. I think Cam Johnson is a very, very underrated basketball player. I really do. Cam Johnson, he went to the finals with the Phoenix Suns, and he averaged 13.4 points and 4.3 rebounds a year ago. He's got a great three-point shot. I mean, he shot 39.1% on 6.1 attempts last season. So, the Warriors are, they want to play. We know the Warriors. Steve Kerr wants body movement, ball movement, pace, and space, right? They want to stretch the floor. They want to defend at a high level. And they want to get up and down. They want to play a relatively fast pace. And this would give them another shooter. I mean, this team would have Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, and Cam Johnson all on the same team. And if you don't move Podziemski, or if you move Podziemski for a Markkanen, could you imagine if you had Markkanen and you had Buddy Hield and Steph Curry and Cam Johnson? I mean, then you've got some serious firepower from outside the three-point line. So I love this deal. I absolutely would do this deal in a heartbeat. I love both those players. I love Dorian Finney-Smith. I like the way he's a defender. He's a shooter. I think he could improve his three-point shot. The volume of his three-point attempts would go down on this team, but maybe the percentage might go up. Cam Johnson's just an absolute sniper. And you add Cam Johnson to what you already have with Steph and Hield and maybe even Dorian Finney-Smith. And if you could add, a Kuzma or a Markkanen or somebody like that who also is going to shoot the ball from the perimeter, you could have a nice little three-point arsenal, with a bunch of different guys, and it would make it very difficult for opposing defenses to slow you down. So I hope the Warriors do it. I really do. I hope they get him. I hope they make that kind of trade. That's the kind of trade for Wiggins that I would love to see. I don't think, there's a lot of talk the Warriors are going to have to attract or attach assets to Andrew Wiggins to get other teams to bite because his contract is exorbitant. But if they could find a team like Brooklyn where they could trade some bad money for some other, guys that are viewed as bad money on a rebuilding team, maybe they could get it done. But Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith in a deal for Wiggins, Looney, Moody, and a future first, I think I would do it. I love the idea of what Cam Johnson would look like next to Buddy Hield and Steph Curry. Give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys think on this trade. I don't know if it's close to being done. There's an awful lot of rumors thrown around this time of year in the NBA, but the Warriors are looking to move Andrew Wiggins, and there's only so many options out there. What do you think of Andrew Wiggins, Looney, Moody, and a first going to Brooklyn for Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson? I would do it. I like it. I like it. Tell me what you think. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.